For years now, whatever their views on taxation or social security or immigration, one thing the Republican Party has been crystal clear about, has shouted from the rooftops, in fact, has been supposedly consistent on, is that they are the law and order party, the national defense party, the patriotic party of the military and of the police. Conservatives have spent the past year chanting Blue Lives Matter and attacking Democrats over defund the police, even though the Democrat who won the White House doesn't even support that mantra or that policy, and nor do the vast majority of Democrats in Congress. But here's what's become so clear in recent days, undeniable even. The long-standing and famous Republican love for the police and law enforcement, their unflinching defense of the military against the unpatriotic left, it was all a lie. A cynical, convenient lie. The Blue Lives Matter sloganizing had less to do with solidarity with the police and much more to do with keeping black people in check. The supposedly unconditional and unquestioning veneration of the generals turned out to be much more conditional and questioning and easily dispensable, in fact, when one of those generals, Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, publicly came out last week and slammed the right-wing hysteria over the teaching of critical race theory. Then the gloves were off. On Wednesday, Laura Ingraham was so mad at Milley that she called for the defunding of the military. No, I'm not making this up.
Why is Congress not saying we're not going to give you a penny until all of this is eradicated from the military budget? Nothing. This is my offer to you. Nothing. That's what I would say.
On Thursday, on Fox, Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson, who has never served in the military, went further than Ingraham, attacking General Milley in a ridiculously over-the-top and vicious way.
Mark Milley is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He didn't get that job because he's brilliant or because he's brave or because the people who know him respect him. He is not, and they definitely don't. Milley got the job because he is obsequious. He knows who to suck up to, and he's more than happy to do it. Feed him a script, and he will read it. Hard to believe that man wears a uniform. He's that unimpressive. Notice he never defined white rage, and we should know what it is. What is white rage? He's not just a pig, he's stupid.
If I had opened this show tonight calling America's top general a stupid pig, right-wingers would be demanding my head, insisting that this network fire me for being a traitor and anti the armed forces. Because it's one rule for the white conservative, another rule for the black or brown immigrant. Now, you might say, well, Tucker and Laura are opinion hosts on Fox. They don't represent the GOP. But here is high-profile Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz calling this week for the defunding of the FBI. Yes, the same FBI investigating him over allegations of child sex trafficking. Allegations Gaetz denies. And here is Gaetz, who has also never served in uniform and whose daddy helped him get elected to Congress in Florida, mocking General Milley on Twitter. If squad member Ilhan Omar had tweeted that, or Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal, Republicans would be screaming for them to be censured and stripped of their committee assignments and accusing them of hating America and our military. Because again, one rule for the white conservative, another for the black or brown immigrant. How about if 21 House Democrats had voted against the awarding of the Congressional Gold Medal to the Capitol Police for defending the Capitol on January the 6th? The right would have lost their minds. And yet that's what 21 House Republicans did earlier this month. Or if AOC had refused to shake the hand of a Capitol Police officer who approached her in an elevator. Can you imagine the attacks she'd have gotten? And yet that's what GOP Congressman Andrew Clyde did when Officer Michael Fanone, who was beaten and electroshocked by the pro-Trump mob at the Capitol on 1/6, approached him on an elevator earlier this month.
I asked him if he was going to shake my hand, and he told me that he didn't know who I was. So I introduced myself. I said that I was Officer Michael Fanone, that I was a D.C. Metropolitan Police officer who fought on January 6th to defend the Capitol. At that point, the congressman turned away from me, pulled out his cell phone. It looked like he was attempting to pull up like an audio recording app on his phone, and again, like never acknowledged me at any point. As soon as the elevator doors opened, he ran as quickly as he could, like a coward.
Officer Fanone has been pushing for an independent bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack, in which around 140 police officers were injured. This is the footage from the body camera that Officer Fanone was wearing as he was brutally attacked. After that attack, Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick lost his life, and two officers, D.C. Police Officer Jeffrey Smith and Capitol Police Officer Howard Liebengood, took their own lives. Fanone has been joined in this campaign by Brian Sicknick's mother, Gladys, and Brian's longtime partner, Sandra Garza. Last week, Sandra, who, according to the Daily Beast, used to be a Trump supporter until the riot that killed her partner, said in an op-ed that her deep sadness turned to outright rage as she watched Republican members of Congress lie about what happened that day. Over and over, they denied the monstrous acts committed by violent protesters. Together in May, Sandra and Gladys went door to door on Capitol Hill in an effort to convince Republican senators to vote to create a commission to investigate the attack. Some senators were polite, others could barely hide their disdain, Garza says, and 20 more wouldn't meet with them at all. Their efforts failed. On Friday, Gladys was back on Capitol Hill alongside Officer Fanone and Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn to finally meet with House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. This is Officer Fanone leaving that meeting. A picture, they say, is often worth 1,000 words.